The Indian Association of Structural Engineers, also known as IS-Struct-E, was conceptualized and constituted in the year 2002 by a group of senior professional structural engineers from all over the country. IS-Struct-E is registered under the Society's Registration Act 21 of 1860. IS-Struct-E is a national apex body of structural engineers in India with a mission to promote structural engineering profession and cater to the professional needs of the structural fraternity. In the short span of 2 decades, association has attained an eminent position in the professional field. Its membership is valued very highly in the profession. Since inception, IS-Struct-E has been led by eminent structural engineers like late Shri Mahendra Raj, late Shri Sri Kumar Ghosh, Shri Subhash Chand Mehrotra, Professor Mahesh Tandon, Shri Alok Bhaumik, Shri Manoj Mittal and Professor R. Pradeep Kumar. As its president, IS-Struct-E is a permanent member of Engineering Council of India and interacts with the government on professional and policy matters related to civil and structural engineers. To expand its reach, IS-Struct-E has collaboration with various international professional like-minded associations and institutions. IS-Struct-E's prime objective is supporting and protecting the profession of structural engineering by upholding professional standards and acting as a mouthpiece for structural engineers in India. IS-Struct-E endeavor to ensure that its members develop the necessary skill in structural engineering and work to the highest standards by maintaining a commitment to professional ethics and standards. IS-Struct-E is actively engaged in organizing several continuing professional development (CPD) courses for structural engineers to help them update their knowledge and advance their career paths. It also conducts refresher courses for young and practicing engineers and student-oriented programs, seminars, workshops, conferences, technical lectures and discussions related to the latest technological advancements, and case studies are also organized regularly for members to enable them to continuously update their knowledge and skill set by interacting with the best minds from the industry. IS-Struct-E's activities are widely appreciated and known for quality technical contents. IS-Struct-E is also actively engaged in publishing its quarterly journal Structural Engineering Digest (SED), code commentaries, professional guidelines, and a monthly newsletter. IS-Struct-E's publications are becoming popular with time. IS-Struct-E has representation in various technical committees of BIS and IRC as well. Its members are actively contributing to National Code of Formulations. In the year 2020, IS-Struct-E started National Awards competition to stimulate interest in the structural engineering field and to promote innovative thinking and creativity. The awards are presented to the winners in recognition of their outstanding contribution to structural engineering in the categories which include Outstanding Structure, Outstanding Structural Engineer, Outstanding Woman Structural Engineer, Promising Young Structural Engineer, and Best Master's Thesis in Structural Engineering. IS-Struct-E is currently operating from 4 regional centers, namely Eastern, Western, Northern, and Southern, having its headquarters in Delhi to inculcate the professional culture and provide handholding to the budding engineers. IS-Struct-E has its student chapters in several leading engineering institutions as well. Membership of IS-Struct-E is open to all civil and structural engineers engaged in structural engineering profession. Members are elected based on their qualifications and experience in different grades as per eligibility requirements prescribed in the bylaws. Each application is carefully scrutinized before electing the members. More information about IS-Struct-E is available on its website www.isstruct-e.co.in.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to this today's the precursor course to this precursor program to this our course, forthcoming online course on webinar course on FIB Model Code 2020 and the concrete structures. Today, we are very lucky to have two presidents, the president of FIB herself, Iria Doniak, and also our IAS-30 president, Pradeep Kumar, Dr. Pradeep Kumar, among us. So I take this opportunity to welcome them. And also along with the president of FIB, we have the General Secretary, David Ordonos, too, along with us, who have been, helping the cause of dissemination of knowledge of FIB through this IAS-30 very, very earnestly, and he has been very helpful for us. So, David, I also take this opportunity to welcome you to this web curtain raiser program over here. And all of us, as all of you are aware, this is a precursor program for a webinar course which are going to be commenced from the 8th March on FIB Model Code 2020 of concrete structures. This course is going to be one of its kind because, this course we are bringing perhaps first time in India through the webinar mode where the most of the speakers will be those people who are involved in the making of the code itself. That's the FIB Model Code 2020 itself. And as you know that the model code is meant to be a mother code for all the code making across the world. And all of you are aware of it. And in fact, I had the good opportunity of being representing in India as a member of task group 10.1, which was making this FIB Model Code 2020, as well as earlier also I was involved in that. I can tell you that the latest advancements and the researches which has been going on across the globe is condensed and it is put into this particular FIB Model Code 2020. And from this code, many of the new generation codes like the Euro code, which is shortly is going to come out, all these codes are inspired. Some of the aspects of this FIB Model Code 2020 has been inbuilt into this Euro code, the next generation Euro code itself. And that you have heard in our last webinar course, which we conducted by Professor Steve Denton himself, like how he has taken some of the aspects of this model code. He has explained to you people who have participated in that webinar course, you are aware of it. And on this model code, the benefits of the model code, Mr. Rajshike is our own like the GC member of IAS-30 is going to explain how we can benefit from this webinar course which we are going to conduct. And also we thought it's a good opportunity for us to bring you people as to what happened in the FIB Symposium 2024 in New Zealand. It was a very successful program, and myself as well as our delegation head, Mr. Alok Bomik, who is also instrumental in bringing this the webinar course in a way, and we're there attending this particular New Zealand this Symposium 2024, and we thought it is taking this opportunity to bring it to you all people as to what happened in that particular course, in that particular symposium also will be bringing it. And also we will hear from Dr. Pradeep Kumar about our activities in IAS-30, and also I will request later Dr. David Ordonas about how the FIB Model Code 2020 was formulated, and also about the FIB activities. I'll request him to say a few words. With this small opening remarks of mine, what I will do is I will invite Professor R. Pradeep Kumar to talk about the IAS-30 activities to all of you people. Professor Pradeep Kumar?
Yeah. So thank you, Shri Hegdeji. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to warmly welcome President FIB and Secretary General Dr. David, who is also one of the speakers for today. and our own Shri Umesh Rajshri and Shri Alok Bhaumik ji, and you as a moderator. So I warmly welcome all the participants to this FIB Model Code 2020, which is going to take place from 8th March up to 5th April. And along with that, some details about the experiences during this FIB Symposium, which you both attended in the last year, that is November 2024, as a fellow member representing India. Now it is my pleasure to tell all the participants and to our speakers from FIB that IST is a professional society which works for all the professional needs of structural engineers. So it conducts several courses which are advanced in nature for training from time to time. And there are a lot of advantages of taking a membership of this one. And the participants who are right now attending this program, who are not yet members, I request them to take membership and take the advantage of it. And also our moderator and two speakers, Umesh Rashikreji and Alok Bhaumikji, they are working very hard to get a lot of advantage of FIB collaboration to give the fruits of the same to all the Indian participants. So all these workshops in collaboration were very successful, and I am sure this workshop is also going to be very, very successful. I already know that FIB model code addresses a lot of new things. New things have been introduced in that. Right from end to end, I can say that structural analysis, design, durability aspects, seismic safety, performance enhancement, all these points are there. So I request all the participants to spread the word and bring your friends and colleagues to attend this workshop. So with these few words, I hand over the mic to Shri Hegdeji, and I wish this workshop all the success.
Thank you, Doctor and Professor Pradeep Kumar for your wise words. And also, I think this is a time I invite Dr. David Fernandez Ordonez to say a few words about the FIB activities and also about the FIB Model Code 2020. The virtual dais is yours, David.
If you agree, I would ask Idia to give some welcome words, and then I will do some words of presentation of FIB.
That we are very lucky that
Yes.
to hear from the president herself from Iria Doniak. Iria, I think you can go ahead.
Okay. I am honored to have the opportunity today to compliment all the participants of this relevant activity from Indian Association of Structural Engineering to offer the FIB Model Code course, FIB Model Code course 2020. For us, it's very relevant not only to disseminate the knowledge, but to integrate our technical community. So I wish a very fruitful and productive time on the following lectures. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. David. It's your turn now.
It's okay. I will present some slides.
Yeah, please.
Okay, perfect. I will do that. Yeah. I will present some slides. Thank you. And let me just go here and present some slides.
Yes.
I just want to be sure that you're looking at the full screen, not the presenters.
Yes, it is in the presentation mode.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I will just take a few minutes to talk to you about what is FIB and where we come from. It's a real international organization that started in the 50s with then two organizations, one more academic and one more professional, that was FIP, were merged together to create FIB. We are already 42 countries and people from more than 100 countries, real international organization. And as you see, these are the countries that are statutory members, that is what we call the national groups, and India is of course there, and Istructi is one of the national groups. I like to say that in reality, the owners of FIB, that is a non-for-profit organization, are the countries. No? So Istructi is one of the owners of FIB in that sense. And what do we try to do? What we try to do is to create knowledge in many ways that is disseminated in the world. And everybody's doing things in different places, and we try to bring these people together to write the best documents possible and then disseminate these documents. I will say something about that. No? And these documents then many times they come into the code, as we are going to talk the model code, and then we like to disseminate, like in this webinar, in the webinars, in the courses. And our aim is to create this knowledge, to help create this knowledge, because everybody is working in the FIB in a voluntary basis, and all this knowledge to share it with the rest of the world. We are organized in a general assembly, that is the basis of FIB, that is the countries, and then we have a presidium, that is the board of directors, and then we have a technical council where all the commissions and task groups hang from, and I cannot go in depth into this, but as you can see, we have from structures to design to materials, concrete, steel, or other kinds of reinforcement, prefabrication, and you see here the commission on the model codes. And this commission is the one that has developed this document that all the organization is working on it. And I would like to just to say something about the young members. There is, of course, a lot of young members around, and we have a very nice group that they can get a very good communication informally and formally in many ways. So if you are under 35 years old, please contact them and get in contact with people from the rest of the world. They are doing incredible work. And I want to show you, this is the presidium, that is the board of directors, let's say, in which you have been able to meet Iria Doniak from Brazil, but the deputy president is from Netherlands, Agnieszka Bigaj, and the past president, Steve Foster, from Australia. You see, there are persons from many places, and it is quite interesting to see that we are trying to put things together to help people. And these are the publications that we do. We publish bulletins that are books that are created by those commissions and task groups. And these books are shared with the organization. So if you become member of Istructi, you will get the possibility to access some of these books a couple years after. And you can become also members of FIB through Istructi, and then you will get the documents yourself. No? The other type of documents that we create is a journal. That is a nice impact factor, and is published 6 times a year. We publish a lot of research papers, many from India, but many from all over the world. And what we are going to talk these days is the model codes, started in the 60s and 70s as a collaboration among CB and FIP. And then this document has been later used for the normatives, as Hegadi said before. It has been used, the model code 2010 has been used now in the new model code. So the 2020 maybe will be used in the future one, but it has the most advanced knowledge for the in concrete structures in the world. So you can use that as your many times when I was the designer, I used the model code when the normatives didn't help me, or they were too short, and then you have very interesting things that you can use. And this model code is something very interesting, is because it's not only for design of new structure, but also for existing structures. And this is something relevant because in many cases, we need to act in existing structures, and you have guidelines for that. So very quickly, I continue. This is the journal. It's free to publish in the journal. So it's if you have research or practice papers, please use the journal. You can FIB members can access for free to all the papers. If you're in a university, you normally have access to. but if you are a FIB member, you can access to those papers. And then we have a type of paper that is what we call short project notes that are made for simplified papers for people that are doing design, examples, or construction. And I think this is quite interesting because it can help you be public in the whole world with what you do. This is an example. Yeah, this is only so you only have to do 2 or 3 pages with some pictures. And I think that you are doing in India such an important work on new structures and on application of different type of structures. If you have an interesting structure that you want to share, please send these papers to the journal, and everybody in the world will be able to look at them. And also in the bulletins, we publish them. We have a DOI for them, so the authors get recognized for that, and this is quite important many times. FIB members can see the bulletins in the web page. So if you become FIB member through iStructi, you have the access to all these bulletins and to all the documents online, and you can even have the access to the model code online. So this is maybe something interesting for you, and if you want to access to all these documents without having to receive them in paper. And then please follow us. There we have many channels. We publish a lot in LinkedIn, but we are in many other social media. And I recommend you also to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to it, because there are very interesting videos and publications on that. And then I would like to reinforce again the idea of the young members. I am sure many of you are young members, and just clicking to connect in the web page, you will be able to connect to this community of people that are sharing, and many of them are already participating in task groups and working together with the seniors, and I think this is very successful initiative. This group, as a matter of fact, has taken the objective to create examples of the model code. So now they are working very hard to take the model code and create a number examples on that. And then just so you know the different events that we're doing, you talk about the symposium in Christchurch in 24. Now we have a conceptual design symposium in Brazil in May. And then the normal symposium that is once a year is going to be in France in June. And then the next events, we have the Congress that will be in Lisbon in 26, and the PhD symposium in Vienna. The date is wrong. It's going to be also in 26 in Vienna. So I think I will stop here, and I will come back to you, and I'll be around, happy to answer any questions or any doubts or any more information around the FIB.
Thank you very much, David. I think that's a nice sum up about the FIB activities, and thank you for staying back to take up the questions, if any, at the end of the session today. Without wasting any much more time, I would like to invite our today's main speakers, Mr. Umesh Rajshekar, who is going to talk about the benefits to attend this Model Code 2020 webinar course, which we are going to conduct, which we are going to commence by the 8th March 2025. And Mr. Rajshekar doesn't require the introduction. In fact, he is a managing director of the Spectrum Consultants Private Limited, and he has been participating in the activities of the FIB as well as the iStructi for last numerous years. And he's one of the regular attendees to the FIB congresses as well as the symposium, and many times he has attended, and he holds a like this post-graduation from the IIT Madras, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, IIT Madras. And also he is responsible for designing of some of the outstanding cable stayed bridges in India, in addition to some of the nuclear power containment structures also. And so he is a multifaceted structural design engineer. And Rashike, without wasting much time on your introduction, I'll request you to take the dais and explain to our participants the benefit of attending this webinar course on FIB Model Code 2020.
Sure, Mr. Hegde, and good afternoon, everybody. I will try to share 1 minute, just because share. Hmm?
No, it's Zoom is coming. Now Zoom is coming.
Yeah. Okay.
You have opened too many.
Not 1 minute, just a minute. Is it too visible now?
Now it's okay. Now I think
Okay, fine, great.
Fine. Yeah.
So
No. I think.
okay. 1 minute. Some
No.
issues. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So okay. So thank you, everybody. FIB, or earlier it was a CEB FIP. I was introduced to this world of CEB FIP or FIB way back in 90s, when I used to work in Stoke along with Mr. Joglekar and Mr. Anim Chandani. And he used to assist both of them in activities of a FIB that time. And has a lot of curiosity. What is this organization? What is this? What they do? And eventually, see, that time we are having our national code, that is even today, the IS 456. And we used to use, or even today we are using it for a number of our structures. But while designing this nuclear containment, we have been introduced to this FIB model code for the first time. And that time, this model code 1990 was in a draft stage. And when Mr. Joglekar attended this Congress of a CEB FIB in Washington, he brought the new version of this code. And that was the first basically exposure to these model codes. And Mr. David has explained you about this particular code, and it is a flagship document of a FIB, which basically contains the latest information of the research happening worldwide, especially mainly in the Europe. And it is evolved over a number of years. So while emphasizing why we should attend this particular workshop, I will try to give a little bit background how this particular document is evolved over a number of years. And I have started using in 90s, that is the 1990 model code was the first code which I was familiar or made familiar with. But and as Venkat or David told, it has made a significant impact on these concrete structures worldwide, this particular document. It shaped the development of international design standards. Many of the national codes are based on this particular document, including indirectly our IRC codes, which right now we are using, though they are based on Eurocode, and Eurocode is based on the this model codes. So model code 78 and 90 provided the basis for the concrete code of EN 92, and then this 1 minute, what happened? Yeah. The next version is a model code 2010, and the latest 2020 are influencing the next generation of this EN 1992 and many other national codes. So these are the codes published at various stages. The first was in 70, which was just a bulletin of information by CEB. Then CEB and FIP, that MP is of pre-constraint, that is of pre-stress, they published jointly this model code 1978, which could be similar to our IS 475. And after a long time, about 12 years, this particular code was published, that is in 1990. After that, 2010, and now 2020. So this, over the years, the 78 was basically used for the ENV, that is a draft code of 1992. And
Eurocode.
final version of a 1992 Eurocode, they took a lot of information from the model code 90. These model codes, these Eurocodes were published in 2004 for the actual application. And then the model code 2010 was published and again used for this now, the newly revised Eurocodes. So 2020, 2010 and to some extent 2020 will also get influenced on this revised Eurocodes. So this is how this important document has been become a basis of this Eurocode development and many codes worldwide. So what I'm going to do right now is, actually along with the evaluation of this model code, which influence the evaluation of the concrete structures, the design, assessment, and sustainability worldwide. So these two things happened together. You are seeing many beautiful structures all around the world. Okay, so that is basically the product of this evolution of a model codes. So that's how this particular document is very important. So this model code 1990. So in next few slides, I'm going to explain how that evolution of the code has taken place. So model code 1990, it was a similar to many other codes, which is a base. Actually, the design approach was traditional, prescriptive, or dim to satisfy. And obviously, it was meant only for the new concrete structures. But being a prescriptive, and it was a mainly for the giving the guidelines or a specification how to do the concrete design of the concrete structures for the various forces or combination of forces. So that way, it was quite a simple, very effective document. Even if you want to use it today, it is still equally effective. It gives us such a good clarity about the material, about the behavior of the material, behavior of the concrete structures, and so on. So when it came in when Mr. Joglekar brought it from Washington, it was used mainly for design of the containment, because many of the aspects were not covered, even not covered today in our IS 456. I will give you some examples what are the various provisions we have used that time. So, for example, for the first time, we were introduced to the terminology like a permanent action, variable actions, accidental actions, and these particular symbols in those days. And what exactly this limit set philosophy, what is the basis? So that entire nomenclature or this language of design, the first time we have been introduced. So along with that, then this particular, the way of they are representing the combination, the equations. Okay. So the combination of action means forces. Now all of you we know because of the our IRC 112. So all these equations were first introduced in 90s. Similarly, this combination of actions, the rare combination, frequent combination, quasi-permanent combination. So those terminology were quite a new at that time, and this, especially these I factors. Similarly, there was a lot of information on the this stress and relationship for the long-term, short-term loading, long-term behavior, and how if somebody wants to use the nonlinear, if they want to use, then this curve was made available for the first time in Model Code 1990, which was quite fascinating. Similarly, uh, this another aspect, that is strength under multi-axial state over stresses. Uh, I don't know, many of you may not be knowing, there used to be called a Fresnel hinge with a certain parabolic shape. You used to create a plastic hinge in the concrete. And without that particular part or portion of the concrete was absolutely without any reinforcement. It was a plain concrete and used to bear the stresses much more than the compressive strength of the concrete. So we used to wonder how there was a one document from the British, not a BIS or British standard. It was, I think, highway some document. So there they have given us how that particular concrete hinge you can achieve. So that theoretical background, how it can sustain such a uh, uh, huge load. Okay, 1 minute. What happened?
Now you'll have to go to the presentation mode. Sujay.
Presentation mode. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
So this particular equation gave that justification for how without a reinforcement that particular concrete can bear such a high stresses. Same thing, it is can be used for the anchorage zone. Okay, so all this information was quite new to us. And really, it was a very fascinating that time. Similar, the use of the fracture energy to how to propagate, how to see the propagation of the cracks in the concrete structure. What could be the stress strain relationship for the concrete in tension, and how the crack opening you can estimate from this particular relationship. All these things were quite useful to forensic. See, there were a few major failures, concrete structure failures, and to uh, know what is the reason for those failure, we used to use all this information in those days. So otherwise, without this model code, it was impossible to do anything. So that was in 90s. Okay. Then obviously there were some details about the time spec development of a strength with respect to time. Then the this strength under sustained loading, how the strength gets deteriorated over a time with a sustained load. The development of modulus of elasticity with the time. All this information was we had access to that. Same thing, there were stipulations on the design of some elements like a shell structure, which was earlier was not there. We used to use that Clark handbook based on the BS 5400. But now that entire theory was made available in the 1990. Apart from that, there were introduction of a certain time model at that time, and but everything was related with the design of a concrete structures. Even today, that code is quite interesting. So when the next, okay, there is then again the creep and shrinkage, new insights, because in our code only few values were given. Here the entire description was made available. The exposure classes, okay, related to the environmental conditions and durability. Very simple exposure class and environmental conditions were described. Very, very basic. So that was that model code 1990. Learned a lot of things through this code. And when we came to know that now the new code is coming, we were very amazed what they can put in that code. What will be new things in this new model code 2010. And so we were eagerly waiting for that particular document. And when it came, so we understood that now the shift is towards the performance-based approach, allowing the probabilistic safety concepts and with the modern materials. So this was a major shift in design philosophy. Earlier, it was a prescriptive, now it will be a performance-based probabilistic safety factor. Now, the reliability methods, reliability factor or index beta, how to use that particular thing in your very fine calculations of the design. All such very beautifully they have explained in this particular code. Fortunately, when we had a FIB Congress in Mumbai in 2014, there was I think, two sessions were there, similar to what we are having online. That time it was in person in the Renaissance Hotel in Powai, and about some 12 or 13 lectures were given by the various authors of this Model Code 2010. It was a great rate. And those lectures are still available on YouTube. So this was a shift from the prescriptive to the performance-based design, and many other things were introduced for the first time. I will come back to those things. This is the basic principles, performance. This is the index of that Model Code 2010. And along with this performance-based design, they have introduced a new concept called the level of approximation approach. So that was again a new development. See what happens along with this advancement in the technology. Uh, Sometimes the life of the designer becomes very cumbersome because so many formulas, so many theories. So they have made four levels: the level one, level two, level three, level four, like this. Okay, so these are the accuracy of the calculations and time and effort required. So level one, they have given a provision for a very simplified rules, which takes a very lesser time, but bit not that or it is the conservative. If you want to go further and further, this is the level four where you can have a very
Economical.
economical designs. Sorry.
Uh,
Arey yaar, yeah, economical designs, but yeah, but the time required is large. Generally, this level four is used for the maybe the diagnostic or maybe the forensic engineering. So this provision they have made available at that particular time. So apart from that the performance required for stability and the structural safety, this was a new topic completely. Introduction of the reliability, target reliability level, etc. Performance required for sustainability. That is a new thing. Uh, was introduced at that time for the environmental impact on the society. To the some extent, it was not that elaborate as compared to what now we are having in this 2020. Again, there was a chapter on this life cycle management, which covers quite in detail. So these are the new things they introduced at that particular time. Same thing for the first time, this probabilistic safety formats, partial factor formats. One more important thing is the global resistance format. See, generally, this semi-probabilistic, there is a safety factor on the material, there is a safety factor on loads. But when you do a nonlinear analysis, we don't use any factors as such. So in that particular situation, they have given this particular format to assess the safety of this structure if you are using a nonlinear FEM. So there won't be any factor on a material or on a action loads, as it will arrive at one particular factor which you have to decide whether is it acceptable or not. And along with that, see, this is the dim to satisfy approach, which is mainly used for the design for the durability. So these are, and then designed by avoidance. That is another philosophy. For example, if you use the stainless steel bars, you avoid the corrosion. So that simple it is. So these are the 5 levels of the, or 4 levels of the approximation. This is the one. Then there is a global resistance, partial factor, or probabilistic safety factors. Not the level of erosion, but these are the various 5 approaches, you can say. And then this environmental conditions and class designation. Here in this particular code, for the first time, they have made it more elaborate, similar to the Euro codes. So for various deteriorating actions like chloride, seawaters, this freezing and thawing attack, chemical attack, etc., etc. So that particular environmental classes, it was more given in the detail. Then the new materials, that time they have introduced the non-metallic reinforcement, like a GRP bars. The fiber and fiber reinforced concrete, first time they have introduced in the code. Then some, again, a new philosophy: verification for robustness, verification for sustainability, verification assisted by numerical simulation, like using FEM with a nonlinear behavior, and that also too with a probabilistic and global resistance method, etc. And one more new thing was there, that is verification assisted by testing. So if you demonstrate that particular element by actual testing, you may not have to submit the calculation. So this particular idea, it was introduced in this code for the first time. So again, it was a revolutionary code at that particular time. And again, after 10 years, we heard that now the new code is coming. So again, there was a curiosity what is going to be there in this particular new code. Already, most of the things are covered. So, so once this particular code came, we came to know that it is a more refined performance-based design, integrating the assessment and retrofitting for the existing structure, sustainability, and life cycle management. So earlier, these two codes, mainly the 90, was mainly for the new concrete structure. Here, to some extent, they have touched upon the existing structure, but not that elaborately. But this particular code, they have given us same basis or same format or same framework for the new structure as well as the existing structure. How to deal with the existing structure, how to extend the lifespan of the existing structure. You can play with the factor of safety with the very scientific basis. You can reduce the load factors, and lot many things are being covered. So this is the new development in the Model Code 2020. I'm not going to go in detail because next 5 weeks, 5 Saturdays, we are going to hear it from many experts. So this is the one summary of this, how this code got evolved. MC90, 2010 and 2020, the approach, the scope, the durability aspect, how they have dealt with the durability aspect, the sustainability, and material models. See, earlier in 1990, used to give rules up to the cube strength 90, from 15 to 90. It was increased from cube strength of 50, M15 to M150, and today also it is the same. But now they have introduced the UHP FRP. So that is you can go up to M250. Again, now there is a chapter on the recycled aggregate and composites, which is again a very good development from the sustainability point of view. Then the robustness, how further refined stipulations are there. Same thing, the computational methods. Earlier, this particular code used to deal only with the linear models. At 2010, they introduced the nonlinear FCM probabilistic method with a global resistance factor. Then this now this is further improved in the advanced probabilistic model. So this gives a overall picture how this evolution have taken place. So this vision of a Model Code 2020 is a future-oriented, capable to accommodate and not to hinder the technological progress, thereby facilitating the ongoing evolution of the concrete and reinforcing material, associated technologies, and structural forms. It may it to go behind the point reached by FIB 2010, recent ISO codes such as 1611311, and to extend the application of the Euro codes to the existing structure. So this is a very, again, a very revolutionary code. It is giving all the revenues or avenues open for the innovation. So it is for the first international code which is dealing with the both new and existing structure. So what is the basically the founding stone for this MC 2020? It is the starting point in developing of this code is a holistic overarching sustainability framework, which consists of three pillars. That is the social, which deals with the functional aspects of the structure, environmental aspects, that is the life cycle, environmental impact and the benefits, and then the economic, that is the life cycle cost and its benefits. So these are the three pillars, and the entire code is based on these three pillars. The philosophy, the formats, framework, etc., etc. So this social performance, actually, I will not go into detail because our experts are going to deal with that. So basically, all these things is required this particular approach called a performance-based approach, and the traditional prescriptive-based approach is various. What is the time now? Yeah, it is almost, I think, 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
And then these are the basically the this is a more flexible and potentially sensitive design and specification of the technical solutions. Then most appropriate solution for a project chain, supply chain to define, specify, and design suitable solutions. And so on. It removes the appropriate constraint to use of a novel type of a concrete or reinforcement material, as well as other processes. See, generally, all of you know, if you want to introduce something new, and if you go to the client, they will first ask whether is it covered in the code. Can you show any structures has been built, constructed using this particular material or approach, philosophy. So all these things are now removed by this FIB model code. And they have not removed, means they have given the process or the framework how to use this innovative technology in the structure without this hampering this three pillars of sustainability. So this is basically the performance design or assessment. This is to achieve the desired level of a satisfaction to this stakeholders. And while doing that, we have to comply with the statutory responsibilities and requirements. However, without specifying the conditions, how this is to be achieved by applying the specific material detailing and the construction method. So they are we have to specify the requirements which have to be met and should be defined, but not the manner in which this should be done. So that is a basic approach of this particular methodology. This is the content concised in this particular table. There are some 10 parts, though in the index of the printed code, they have not mentioned about what part it is. But the basic, this is this part 2 covers the basic principles. Then the principle of a structural performance evaluation is chapter number 11 and 12. Then the actions on the structures, including fire and seismic, that is covered in chapter number 13. Then the input data for the material, the concrete reinforcement, stress, non-metallic reinforcement, fiber reinforced concrete, USPC, and the material and systems for protection, repair, and so that all these things are covered in this part number 4 or part number 5. Part number 6 gives basically input data for interface, that is a bond, bond between the steel, embedded steel, non-metallic reinforcement, externally applied reinforcement like the carbon fibers, concrete to steel by mechanical entry lab, anchorage in the concrete, and so on. Then the design and the assessment. There is a conceptual design, approach to design, approach to assessment, structural analysis, evaluation of a structural performance. This is I think, the biggest chapter. It consumes around 200 pages out of this big code. Um, then the evaluation of other social aspects and of the social performance, environmental performance, economic efficiency, and then the sustainability. So this is the most important part of this code. And then there are guidelines about the execution management, construction work, execution interventions, the conservation of the old historic structures. There is a chapter on 38, and the dismantlement and the reuse. That is the circularity, dismantlement, and the reuse. So this is what the code covers in total. So, this is basically our program. It will start on 8th of March. So there will be 2 lectures on that particular day. This is the introductory lecture on the vision of a sustainability and a safe concrete. Then the sustainability principles of 2020, concrete models, the review of recent developments, design with the recycled aggregate. This is one of the important lecture, because how much demolitions we are having and how we are throwing that particular concrete without using it. So this will help us in the rethinking of that particular process. Then design innovations of a FRC, UHP FRC in Model Code 2020, another big important lecture. Integration of FRP design into Model Code 2020. And then the durability concepts, assessment methods and models, intervention of existing structures, and the protection, repair, and strengthening method. So all these lectures are important, and they will cover what are the new advancements in this particular Model Code 2020. Apart from that, you may visit, as David told, you may visit this FIB website. Even for the non-members, you can download some expert papers on this Model Code 2020. There are about 14 or 15 papers are there, which are free. The access is free to all these papers. Similarly, there are videos of earlier webinars, so that also you can go through, which some are common, but of course, the content will be slightly improved this time. There are such a 3 or 4 lectures are there, but the remaining are quite different. So you can visit and go through these videos as well as the papers, if possible, before attending this webinar from 8th of March. So thank you very much. This was basically the introduction to this model code and the program, the webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raj Shirke, for that, the wonderful exposition of evolution of model code by the FIB, starting from the CB, FIP model codes. In fact, for the benefit of all the participants, all our codes, whether it's the IS code or the IRC codes, or for that matter, IRSC codes, used to be based on the BS codes, that is the British Standard codes earlier. Now, when we took up the revision of these codes, especially the IRC codes, and also the IS 456, that's the IS codes for that matter, we took the revision on the basis of the Euro codes. That's how the development of the codes in India has taken place. Of course, IRSC has not, changed that much. I think still some of the provisions of the British standards is being followed with the IRSC. That's why I feel that those code making in the IRSC is a little bit behind, according to me, whereas Indian Rules Congress are quite ahead. As Rajesh Shirke has explained, that most of the Euro codes. Our codes are based on the BS as well as the Euro codes, but the Euro codes itself, as he has explained, up to this MC 2010, that's a model code
Yeah.
2010. All the provisions of the Euro code at that particular point of time. In fact, those people who are working on the Euro codes as well as the FYB model codes are almost, I think David may
Right.
agree with me, or some of them are the common people. So it was easy to bring some of the provisions of the FIB model code into the Euro code that particular point of time. Now, since the formation, since the since MC 2010, that's a model code 2010, and to the 2020, again another 10 years have elapsed. During that period, a lot of research has been done in the European best of the universities, technical universities, as well as not only in Europe, even for that matter, Canada also a lot of research has been done. And all these advancements, whether it's in the material science, whether it is in the assessment, whether it is in the rehabilitation, whether it is in finding out the probabilistic, semi-probabilistic, what Mr. Raj Sikhe said about this partial safety factors on the load action side as well as the resistance side, all is based on the research which has been done, and which has, I tell you to the participants, I've been participating in this FYB model code 2010 and 2020. It is thought out. It is not so easily explained. So many professors of the highest order. It is fascinating to see them debating and discussing in those forums. I have seen that personally myself. So it is the best of the latest advancement in the technology, material science, and the civil engineering, structural engineering for that matter, which has been brought into this FIB model code 2020. I'm sure on the basis of this FIB model code, all these code makers will be starting revising their codes, whether it's the Indian codes, IS 456, it's also IS codes, which also undergoing a lot of changes. IRC codes also will change in future on the basis of the FIB model code, similar to that of the new generation Euro code. I think there also, I think some of the provisions of the FIB model code has been already taken. So I say that the model code is a code which is a mother of all codes, which guides the code makers, academicians, researchers all over the world. So it's very important. In fact, the webinar course which we are going to be starting from the March 8th March for that matter, and already I think Rajesh Shirke has explained about it in principle. I'll also just for the benefit of all the participants. Can you see my screen, Raj Shirke?
Yeah. It is.
See, this
You can
course
see it.
is going to be starting from the 8th March, as Raj Sikhe has said. This is the FYB model code 2020 for concrete structures. The evolution of all these codes has been already explained by Mr. Raj Sikhe so lucidly and clearly. In fact, some of the things which I was not aware, I think I came to know, when Raj Sikhe explained that so beautifully. He has explained that we are going to have some of the speakers who are themselves involved in the making of the model code 2020. As you can see, the model code 2020 has been spearheaded by Dr. Agnieszka Bigas Van Vellet. We are very lucky to have her to be a coordinator for that particular course, and she herself will be there. And Peter Hazak, he has been furthering the cause of sustainability in that. Harald Muller is one of the world's top experts in the concrete technology for that matter. Then the Professor Nicolo Tosk will be talking about Marco Pirisco, Matthias, Karaman Andrade, Gary Dietron. I've been seeing him, who has been one of the coordinator of this Model Code 2020, I know, throughout, wherever, he was involved along with Dr. Bigas in making of this model code. So they themselves are going to be there, you are going to hear from horse's mouth, what I put it as, that's how it is going to be. And it's going to be a very, very interesting course of its kind. I request you, all you people, to register yourself and take the benefit out of this model code 2020 webinar. And also, I think I request all the participants to put their questions, if any, in the question and answer box, so that we can take up these questions at the end of this today's sessions. With this, I'll come to our next speaker, Mr. Alok Bhaumik. Alok Bhaumik doesn't literally require introduction. He's managing director of BSCC Consultancy Private Limited. Similar to that of Rajshekar, he's also one of the designers in the country who was involved in the design of some of the outstanding Exodus as well as cable stay bridges in India. He has been involved in the code making to a large extent. He's in almost all committees of the IRC, Indian Roads Congress committees, especially related to the bridges. And by the way, I forgot to tell that Mr. Rajshekar is also a member secretary of B4, which is IRC 112, which we call it as. That is a concrete code in bridges, in fact. And coming back to Mr. Bhaumik, Bhaumik is, in my opinion, is a passionate disseminator of knowledge very selflessly. I have not seen anybody who is involves himself in dissemination of the knowledge the way Mr. Bhaumik gets himself. Very selflessly does it. And he's in almost all the institutions of India on the GC. In fact, he's in IAS Trustee, he was a past president of IAS Trustee, and also he's a GC member of CEAI, and he has received numerous awards, out of which the prestigious Concrete Design Award from Institution of Engineers, and also the S.P. Joshi Memorial Award for the Outstanding Bridge and Structural Engineering from COEP, that is yes, the College of Engineering Pune alumni are noteworthy. His organization also has some good awards. And with this, Alok, I think if you can take the virtual dais and brief the participant as to what happened in New Zealand Symposium 2024, so that they can be inspired and attend other symposiums of FYB in future too.
Thank you.
Look,
Thank you.
before that, can I take a 1 minute?
Yes,
Just I
please.
want to apprise all the all these participants that through ISTRUCT FIB collaboration, you can take a membership of a FIB through ISTRUCT at a 50% discount price.
Yes.
Almost 50%. And you are able to get almost all the benefits of this. Even you can receive this particular model code, which is this much thick, at a discounted price. Okay. So be a member of this FIB. You will get a lot of information through this ISTRUCT. So that was I wanted to add. Okay, please, Alok, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Umesh. And thank you, Mr. Hegde. I will take all the participants to a virtual tour to Christchurch without charging anything. And they will be given a glimpse of what happened in the symposium that is at Christchurch. But before I do that, I just want to continue with what Mr. Hegde and Mr. Shirke mentioned about this MC 2020. To my mind, familiarity with this model code 2020 is extremely important for all engineers, irrespective of the fact that whether our codes align with MC 2020 or not. Because of the sole reason that this modern code MC 2020 takes sustainability as the fundamental requirement. And therefore, there are many aspects related to climate change, related to sustainability, environment, which has come for the first time, in this particular document. Call it a code, call it a guideline. It is a document which I think all the stakeholders, be a designer, practicing engineer, academician, students, or contractor, it will help you to assist you and help you. For example, in the construction industry, this will help you to deliver durable and low carbon concrete structures. Or no other codes will tell you or guide you to the extent this MC 2020 will. And this is important irrespective of the codal provision. This will also help you, the clients particularly, to those who are actually maintaining the assets. They will be able to retain more and more existing structures which otherwise by conventional methods we will discard, because this particular guideline gives you ideas, levels of approximation which Mr. Shirke mentioned, based on which probably many structures which otherwise we will discard can be made use of. And this will also give you several tools and techniques which will help you to undertake more in-depth assessment for existing structures. This is a code not just for the new structures, but also for the existing structures. So with this brief, let me come to my topic, which is a glimpse to FIB Symposium, which was held last year. Is my screen visible in?
Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay,
Hello,
perfect,
hello.
perfect, perfect. So this FIB Symposium was held between 11th and 13th of November at Christchurch. The theme of this symposium, as you can see here mentioned, it is reconstruct. Note that in reconstruct, R, C, and S are capital. So it has a twin meaning, you know. This concept of reconstruct relates to basically New Zealand's, many of you will be aware that in 2010-11, there was a earthquake and which practically, destroyed this entire city, and it was rebuilt, it was reconstructed. So this concept reconstruct comes from there, but actually it also is RE stands for resilient, CON for concrete, and struct is for structures. So this is the theme. Theme is resilient concrete structures. And this symposium was hosted by Concrete New Zealand Society, which is an association with very strong foothold in New Zealand. The event was organized in a convention center which is called Taipei Convention Center, an excellent convention center, ideally suited for such a large gathering. More than 700, I think about around 700 people was there. So this was an ideal setting for the event. The symposium was attended by 640 delegates. It's a huge success in many respects. There were participants from several countries, which is various continents. We have given you the figures here. You can note that Australia and New Zealand participation was maximum 345, and very logically so, because very close these two countries, New Zealand being the host and Australia being the closest continent. Asia, mostly from China and Japan, 166, and 92 from Europe. So on the whole, the participation was, very good. 640 is a very large number. There were 330 presentations in this symposium, which covered in, oral format in terms of presentation. There was monitor presentation format. I will describe what is monitor presentation format, which I have come to know for the first time in this particular symposium, and also poster presentation formats. This slide shows broadly what are the countries in white, which was represented there. You can see that the countries from North America, South America, Europe, China, Japan, India, Australia, New Zealand. Mainly, they are the participants. Now, if I tell you the breakup of the papers and presentations, there were 5 keynote lectures, 6 invited lectures. Distinction between the keynote lecture and invited lecture is that the keynote is for 45 minutes, invited lectures was for 30 minutes. Then there were 33 special sessions. In each session, number of papers would range from 4 to 6, and each paper presentation was allowed 15 minutes. And there was something unique, which is monitor presentation. There were 60 monitor presentations of 10 minutes duration, and poster presentation 37. These proceedings of this particular symposium was available. It's a voluminous report, about 3,000 odd pages, and 330 papers collection. It's a huge kind of thing. Other than the technical events, there were social networking events and also other aligned events, which further enhanced the value of this particular symposium. Those who attended. And these aligned events included quite a few number of programs as listed here. There was a seminar on design of seismic resilient concrete building. There was a, for young engineers, there was a earlier career networking event. This was hosted with the local CSOC, that is the Association of New Zealand and Structural Engineers Association. And then there was a very interesting discussion on progress to 2050 net zero carbon between Australia and concrete New Zealand. And there was a tour to University of Canterbury Structural Engineering Lab. And on the fourth day, that is post symposium, there was a workshop on FIB model code. Apart from the event, there were also an award and giving ceremony. 9 senior members were awarded fellowship. 2 members were given Medal of Merit, and 2 members are given honorary membership. This is a routine event of FIB. Every symposium. Symposium, by the way, is an annual event, and every symposium they give this fellowship, Medal of Merit, and honorary membership. And just to mention to all the participants that in 2023, Mr. V.N. Hegde was given the fellowship. He received the fellowship from FIB. It's a great honor. And this is a symposium, and FIB has a congress which is every 4 years. And I think Dr. David mentioned that in 2026 the congress will be in Lisbon. So it is basically the year when the congress happens, the symposium do not happen. So therefore, every 4th year, the symposium is replaced by a congress. And in congress, you have other awards also, the Medal of Merit, which are not Medal of Merit, the award for outstanding structure, President Medal. There are many other awards added during the congress, which comes every for once in 4 years. Now let us get into the details of the lectures, particularly the keynote lectures. There were 5 keynote lectures which were spread over 3 days. Normally this comes in the morning time plenary session, and they delivered very, very inspiring talks that set the tone actually for the future of which is focused on resilience, which is focused on sustainability and innovation in concrete construction. So these are the 5 experts whose photographs you are seeing here, and I'll get into the details subsequently. Let me first explain about what happened in these 3 days, and then I will come into the details of the keynote lectures. As I mentioned, other than the keynote, there were invited lectures, which are 6 numbers, and these also deserves a special mention. All these lectures were very, very thought-provoking, and they highlighted cutting-edge developments and challenges across the construction industry worldwide. So the event on day 1 started with a traditional, they call it Mihi Wakatau, which is basically a general welcome in their native language, which is Maori. And then the technical events really started after the welcome, and that was they started with keynote address by Agnieszka Vigas, uh, who is I think in the Presidium, Dr. David showed. Agnieszka is also going to be the course coordinator for our Model Code course, which starts from 8th of March. And she is basically the flag bearer. As far as our course is concerned, she is the course coordinator. And it was an excellent lecture. And this lecture of Agnieszka was followed by very engaging presentation from the invited lectures of Alper Ilki from Turkey and Shimomura from Japan. Alper spoke on the future direction in seismic design, insights from the recent earthquake in Turkey. And Shimomura spoke on the introduction of the Japan's JSC, that is, I think, Japan Structural Standard Specification for Concrete Structures. Very elaborately, what are the new things which is coming up for the JSC code. This was in the morning session, and in the afternoon, it was all parallel sessions, special sessions, and the monitor presentation. There were 4 parallel sessions and 1 monitor presentation going on simultaneously. And the day was concluded with a very exciting 2 events, which is one is the early career networking event for the young engineers, and a discussion by Concrete Institute of Australia versus Concrete New Zealand Net Zero Roadmap discussion. I think I could only attend a part of it due to some other reason, but Mr. Hegde was there, and the feedback which I received from him is it was an excellent interaction. Very informative, very educative. In day 1, we also stole some time out of these technical sessions to have discussion with Agnieszka and Dr. David about our course, which has been fructified, and we are seeing the results. That is, from 8th March, we will have this course, and we took out some time to discuss the modalities. And let me just mention that we discussed not only about this forthcoming course, which starts from 8th of March, we also discussed about another course, which is going to be held in November online. And this will be on sustainable concrete structures. And this will be organized by the special group of FIB, which is SAG2, which is, again, Dr. Agnieszka is the convener of that particular special group. And therefore, she will be spearheading another online course in the month of November this year. Then comes day 2. The day 2 started with a keynote lecture from speaker Des Bull. He is from Holcim Cement. And this was followed by invited lecture from Adam Thornton about preserving the past, securing the future, the seismic retrofit of Wellington Central Library. And the second invited lecture was by Brandon McAfee of WSP, and who spoke on the enhanced seismic resilience, a pathway to the wider implementation of dissipative controlled rocking in bridges in New Zealand. So these are the 2 topics on which this invited lecture was there. Following all these grueling sessions from morning till evening on day 2, the delegates participated in a gala dinner, and this was a real spectacle. We all very thoroughly enjoyed this networking. Then came day 3, the third and the final day of the symposium, which started with a session by featuring Professor Steve Denton, and then followed by Dr. Laura Lewis. Steve, who is an authority in Eurocode's executive director of WSP, he shared the insights into how these international standards, the second generation of Eurocode, has helped in improving the structural performance. His message basically focused on how ease of use is the key driver for the second generation Eurocode. then followed by Laura Lewis from University of Washington, and she brought expertise in structural and earthquake engineering, which delved into the research aimed at enhancing the resilience of critical infrastructure through various efficient modeling tools. After these keynote and invited lecture details, let me tell you there were 33 sessions and around 5 papers on an average, but it was ranging from 3. So what you see, these are the list of special sessions. I will not run through these due to paucity of time, but what you see in bracket is the number of papers in that particular special session, and it ranged why very widely. It covered practically anything and everything that you can think of in concrete. So these are these 33. Actually, there are 38 sessions, not 33, but 33 were termed as special sessions. And I think other than special sessions, there were few sessions which covered some general papers. Then let me come to a very interesting, 60 monitor presentations. And let me tell you, Mr. Hegde was one of the participants in this monitor presentation. This was very interesting. In this monitor presentations in a hall, there were 3 presentations going on simultaneously, and there was no chair. The participants, the speaker is also standing, and also the participants who are interested to listen to that particular lecture would be also standing close by. And the decibel level was arranged in such a manner that if you are standing in front of one particular presentation, you will not really hear, though there will be some noise. But this is a 10-minute presentation for each particular session, and I attended a couple of this monitor presentation. Very, very interesting topic. And in fact, after my presentation, I will request Mr. Hegde to throw some light on his presentation, which was also extremely interesting, on this buckling, in-plane buckling of extra-dose bridges, which he threw some ideas, which was very, very absorbing, and people liked it. So this is another, when you have large number of papers to be accommodated in a short time, and this is a brilliant idea, and I really like that. Other than technical presentations, we had opportunity for social networking every day during tea time, morning, afternoon, evening, and also we have took this opportunity, both of us, myself and Mr. Hegde, to interact with several luminaries of the industry, and this was really good. So that is one advantage of attending a physical symposium. Online you don't get all these benefits of having interaction with people. Now let me go a little bit in depth into the keynote presentations very quickly, though. Mr. Hegde, how much time do I have?
I think you hasten up a bit, like I think.
Fine. So I think a bit of on each keynote lecture. First lecture, as I mentioned, Dr. Agnieszka, and it introduced MC 2020, fascinating presentation, and showed us how the code of practice could play a very crucial role in advancing sustainable development. Then we had the second lecture by Dr. Zilin Liu from Tongji University, Shanghai, and it was a very fascinating presentation. He talked about the tuned mass damper, right from the concept development to testing, to execution, and to monitoring. I mean, all the 4 stages he explained so nicely for a particular building in Shanghai. That was I really liked that presentation. The third presentation was day 2 was by Des Pull, very insightful and educative. He's a technical director of Homes New Zealand, and it highlighted extensive research which is taking place in New Zealand about the application of precast elements in buildings, and right from pre 2010 earthquake and then how post earthquake researches have improved the detailing and the guidance and the practices of use of precast elements in buildings, particularly in a high seismic zone. That was the topic for given by Despol. Then this famous lecture, Professor Steve Denton, which prompted me to request him to and invited him to give a lecture to our Indian audience, and which he very gracefully agreed. And we had one session of Steve Denton in India also recently in IS30 platform. So here he talked about the harmonizing the international standards. He talked about the second generation Eurocode, and his message was focused on how ease of use is a key driver in the Eurocode revisions and lessons for the development of design standards globally. Then this keynote lecture number 5 was by Laura Lewis, who is from University of Washington, and she brought expertise in structural and earthquake engineering, delving into the research aimed at enhancing the resilience of critical infrastructure through efficient modeling tools. That is the theme of her presentation. I think if you have time, I can go through some of the special sessions. Let me go through one or two, then I think it will be better. So I think I will just pick up 4 or 5 and say, so for example, one session was on alternative binder system and novel processing technologies, which was led by Alan Scott. And this special session, there were 4 presentations, and these papers covered, the very use of various material like waste clay bricks products, calcined kaolinitic clays, non-traditional geopolymers, and other systems. Very, very educative and informative for low carbon solution. The second was on circular economy. We all know what circular economy is. Traditionally, we have been following a linear approach in design in our current economy, because we take materials from earth and make products and eventually throw them away as waste. But in this, the papers very clearly reflected how we can stop waste being produced in the first place, and then how to utilize the waste. So basically, it is from cradle to grave solution that is aimed at when you talk about circular economy approach. Then there was a special session on concrete bridge performance in flood and cyclone. I found this to be very, very interesting. It of course it was focused on New Zealand experience, but there were flooding and scour which caused several bridge failures in New Zealand. Some 30 bridges were washed away during some cyclone Gabriella. And what solutions they came out with, these papers highlighted these, what are the lessons learned, and how the mitigation and the measures are to be taken in future, what changes they have made in the code. All these things were discussed here. Then decarbonization of built environment. This was again a initiative by Holcim team, and the presentation shows the impact of the use of low carbon products on the built environment. There were 4 presentations, and it covered the government approach. It covered the low carbon cement concrete of Holcim, then some case studies on use of low carbon concrete. And the 5th topic is about the NDT and SHM for condition assessment, and various very interesting papers of how these modern methods of innovative methods of inspection on real structures. It talked about a kind of a wall mounting spider for monitoring the crack weeds and all. Very, very interesting. And some detection of some papers on detecting tendon breaks in pre-stressed concrete structures. There was a paper which talked about a wall climbing robot with a very high resolution camera for measuring crack width and all. So on the whole, I think I would conclude by saying that the FIB Symposium, it was a excellent opportunity for professionals across the world to connect with the global leaders, exchange insights, and highlight achievements on the international stage driving innovation and progress across the industry. The spotlight was three. One is the spotlight on earthquake engineering, and there were several papers, including three keynote lectures, which highlighted on earthquake engineering. There was a focus on concrete decarbonization. There were two lectures on the by how this model code and the Euro code second generation is addressing these issues. And other than keynotes, also there were several papers highlighting these. And the other supporting events enriched the experience of the delegates. FIB Model Code 2020 workshop, which happened on the day 4, was very, very interesting. Then technical tours and the networking also was very, very interesting. The standout session on day 1, 2050 net zero roadmap, that was also very interesting. Last but not the least, I would like to highlight that in the next symposium, which is in 2025 to be held in France, Mr. Hegde is one of the keynote speaker. So it shows how India is contributing in FIB and how Indian engineers are really in the center stage as far as FIB is concerned. And I think Mr. Hegde is our torch bearer in FIB activities. And I would request all the participants to seriously consider attending this kind of symposiums. They enrich not only your technical knowledge, but also it improves your base, your networking improves significantly. I think with that, I would like to say thank you, and I will pass it on to Mr. Hegde.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you very much for those kind words on me. And I don't know whether I deserve that, but thanks a lot for that. With this, I think we have come to the end of today's presentation. I'm sure with your presentation, Dr. David Fernandez would have been a very happy man to hear you talking about the FIB Symposium at New Zealand. I'm sure he would be having a lot of appreciation and admiration for your presentation. And before taking, like this Rajeshwar case and David's and yourself, the final remarks, what I will do is I've got a couple of questions in the question and answer box. I'll take those questions, and after that we can wind up our session today along with your final remarks. And Dr. Sudhil, that anonymous attendee, has said that he has enjoyed his session, and Dr. Sushil Dhawan has asked performance-based structural design with application of FIB model code versus the actual construction in India. Would you like to say something on that, Mr. Rajasirke? I didn't understand the question, but if you have understood the question, I think you can just take that.
See, performance-based design is basically to find out what is the requirement, what is the performance level from the stock stakeholder is required, and we have to address those things. So, to some extent, yes, we are following. It is not that we are completely ignoring, but that systematic process is we have to follow. That is not, it is absent at present. But otherwise, yes, as per our this deterministic code, this is one way of addressing that particular requirement.
Yeah. And Mr. Venkata Gavaraju is asking, since design for India structures done is using this code legally fine, how the contractors and designers using one code can be convinced to use the FIB provisions. I think, Dr. Gavaraju, this we are bringing out the FIB Model Code 2020. It is not, we are not saying that we should not be using this Indian codes. Like the Indian codes, as per the Indians, the contract specifications, etc., Indian codes have to be used. What you are bringing out is whatever is happening latest in the development, in the technology, in the material science, everything has been brought into the FIB Model Code 2020. Another advantage of the FIB Model Code 2020 is, unlike in Indian codes, one column on the FIB Model Code 2020 gives the the specifications or the clauses of the code. On the other side, on the left-hand side, there is an explanation, a sort of, why that particular clause is there. That sort of an explanation is there. There's a background. And also in the one of the advantages of the FYB model code, that any FYB model code for that matter, is there are commissions working on the various aspects. Say, for example, if it's a serviceability limit state, there is a particular commission which has been working on. That commission will bring out the respective bulletin, respective background sort of a paper. I think Dr. David will be able to explain. So I think it is not that by how to it is not that Indian codes vis-a-vis or the versus FYB model code. What we are saying is the FYB model code provisions, whenever we are going to take up the revision of the Indian codes, that will be taken into consideration. Whatever the FYB model code 2020 is there, I think that is how you will be very better equipped. The background to that clauses which has been there, everything is explained. David, would you like to add on to this question?
I would like to add, besides what you already explained about using it for future revisions of the code, in some cases there are aspects in the model code that are not dealt with in the codes. For example, I give you an example in Europe. Even with the model code 2010, there were provisions to design with fiber reinforced concrete that were not in the codes at that time. And the administrations allowed that, for example, the tunnel linings for precast linings for tunnels, they could be designed with fiber reinforced concrete. And this is one example just, but there are many others. For example, you talk about the levels of approximation, how to deal with detailed design of a structure, both in the beginning or for assessment, and that these provisions are given in this model code that are not in the normative. So then you can use them, and of course you have to agree with your administration, but that you have provisions there that you can use in cases where you get out of the normal way, let's say, or you want to refine what you're doing, to go more in depth to what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'll take the last question from Sandhya, Sri Ramulu Sandhya. Sir, could you please set the registration link for further session? Sandhya, it is basically this curtain raiser is being organized as a precursor to our webinar course, which is going to come, which we are going to have on the FYB Model Code 2020 on concrete structures. And we have already started distributing the flyer. I'm sure that you will be able to go through the flyer and register yourself. That should not be a problem. And I'm sure if you are the member of IAS30 or FYB, you will be able to get that, like the flyer. And since you have asked this question in particular, I will ask the organizers to particularly send a registration link as well as the flyer to you so that you can register for this. And while on being on the subject, I request all the participants to really look into this particular course with a lot of interest, because it will be of great help not only to the practicing engineers, whether it's consultants, contractors, owners, but also it will be very helpful to the academicians as well as the researchers, because in India also a lot of research has been going on the reputed institutions on the concrete technology in a large way. I think the FYB Model Code 2020 also will be helpful in doing their research in their academic institutions as well as the research organizations. Also, I'll request all the participants to go through the flyer which we have been distributing very carefully. And if you are representing some organizations, or if you are the owner of the organization themselves, I would request you to like sponsor this event. There are a lot of benefits for the sponsorship of this particular webinar course which we are going to hold. That benefits are the free delegates are there, and you will be getting an opportunity to make sponsors presentation, where you can certainly do your presentation and make yourself known to the lot of people who will be participating in this particular webinar course. But certainly don't miss out to send as many delegates as possible to this from your organizations for this Model Code 2020 courses. I request you all once again that. With this, I would like to come to the final remarks from our panelists who are present here. Dr. David, would you like to say anything else to
Yes.
our participants apart from what we have said so far?
Yes, I would like to thank you for inviting me here. I'm very happy to see you all, and I would maybe one message to the future participants is that to take profit of the presentations that you will receive in the course, but also, and very important, is that you will have these experts live with you, and that it will be very important that you take profit of asking questions to them, because you have the expertise there by you, and you will be able to ask those questions in specific aspects.
Mr. Rajshekhar, you have any message for the participants?
Message means be a member of a FIB ISTEC team and get
Yes.
advantage of it. See, for example, whatever the Alok has said regarding this New Zealand symposium,
Yes.
that entire that proceeding is now available on the FIB website, free of cost to the members. Okay.
Yes.
So, and not
That's
only
right.
to the symposium, but all other earlier symposiums and congress,
Yes.
all the papers are available free of cost. So
Yes.
once you become a member, that entire treasure is there.
Yes.
So be a member, and if you are below 35, take advantage of interacting with the youngsters all around the world to enhance your knowledge and get motivated yourself. See, I generally attend all these congress and symposiums to get motivated myself. What new things I can do. So these are the very wonderful events, and we all must attend those events. Very, very useful, very, very provocative, very, very motivated. So take advantage.
Alok, your final remarks?
Yeah, I will only my last final remark is that again I would repeat that our aim, because I have interacted with many young engineers, and I find they often ask me, sir, why should I do this? Why should I read this? Because it is not there in our IRC code. So my message to all the particularly young participant is that don't think that if you know what is there in the code is sufficient. That is the bare minimum. You need to know beyond the existing national codes, so that you can interpret the national codes correctly and probably think beyond. So therefore, from that perspective, it is very important that you attend this course, because this will give you an insight which will probably encourage you to go much deeper into the subject. Thank you.
This course
Thank you.
is so lucid, so clear. Your concept gets so ekdam clear. And apart from that, there are wonderful textbooks, some 4 or 5 textbooks.
Yes.
Bulletin number 51, 52 to 54. And they have explained so nicely all this concept. They are wonderful resources for practicing engineers. So don't miss these things. And this is the right time for going through all these resources.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope with this, our mission of, conveying our message to you people to participate in our webinar course on FIB Model Code 2020 is been successful, and we are able to convey the message to all of you people successfully. Once again, I repeat, this kind of courses don't come often. This is one of its kind course, and we are bringing it out. And Dr. David and Dr. Agnieszka were very cooperative and proactive in agreeing to us to bring this particular course to India. We are very grateful to them, and also to Iria Donaik for her, the presidential sort of address in the beginning to introduce Mr. David for this August forum. And also, I am very thankful to Dr. Pradeep Kumar for taking out time some time to participate in this evening. And again, I request all of you people to send as many delegates as possible to this particular course, webinar course, which is of grave importance in my opinion. And also, if there are senior persons in the who are in a position to take the decisions on the sponsorship of this particular course, I think I request you to do so. And there are still opportunity to sponsor this event. In the flyer, the sponsorship benefits have been explained in terms of even advertisements in our IAS30 journal, and also the free delegates, and also the sponsors presentation to make yourself known to all the participants. With this, I think I will declare the today's curtain raiser program closed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
And-
Mr. Hegde, and
you.
thank you all
See you.
participants.
Yes.
And look forward to see you all on March 8th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Nice to
David.
see
Bye.
you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.